Hi people and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew, it's Chili here from Live Listen Erased. You know what I haven't done in a long time? I haven't done an episode of Live Listen Erased, the namesake for this channel. In fact, I know just the perfect person to do a collaboration with to get the Live Listen Erased episodes back up and running. And of course, what better way to restart the Live Listen Erased game other than bringing in a special guest? For the special guest for this episode, I have brought in Hector from Chill Dude on the Couch. He's a fellow YouTuber who does some very interesting music-related content material and also does a lot of interviews with musicians. He does fantastic reviews and of course does a segment called Was It That Bad? So without further ado, bringing on our next guest for episode 6 of Live Listen Erased, Hector from Chill Dude on the Couch. Hector, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, man, for the plug.
So, we haven't done this in a little while, and I thought, you know what, I need to bring some guests on board. You know a lot about metal, and I wanted to talk about metal in particular when it came to this stream. So, what better chance to bring us together and do this? This is just a really cool little thing. So, for those who are unfamiliar, it's a bit of an older channel thing that we used to do, but Live Listen Erased, basically we chose 3 bands and we had to choose out of those 3 bands one to be listened to forever, one would be played live for once only and never listen to their music again, and the last one was erased. An interesting little concept to be coming up with there. It's a hard decision, of course. So Hector, as the guest for the channel, would you like to do your list first?
So yeah, I picked 3 bands, very different, and I actually seen one of them live. So I picked Godsmack.
Ooh.
Because obviously they put out a new album recently.
They did.
Then I picked Nirvana.
Oh.
Because obviously it's a good one for hard. And last but not least, I picked the Deftones.
Oh, Deftones. Dang, that's an interesting list, man. That's a unique one as well. So let's see. We had Godsmack, Nirvana, Deftones. Wow. I remember, we'll start off talking, I guess, about Godsmack because like you said, they had released a new album. I only listened to it very briefly and it seemed a bit drab, I guess would be a word to describe it. It wasn't.
You're being nice. It's pure crap.
Yeah, it was not a good album to be playing through. But to be honest though, I think I can only remember their stuff way back in the early 2000s. You know, I don't think I've listened to a lot of their stuff post that. I recall that, what was that album I'm trying to think of? It's got the sun-looking smile on the front of it. It was their big one from the early 2000s.
Well, the first album, it was Godsmack self-titled, and it had that girl on the cover.
Yes.
And actually, when they released that album in 1998, okay, I saw them play live in Orlando in the Hard Rock Live. It was the ticket was $17. And it was, I think if I remember correctly, I think the opener was Chevelle, and I didn't know Chevelle at the time.
Wow!
And now I love them. Then there was like this freak circus that they did stuff with fire, and then it was Godsmack, and yeah, okay, it was way back in 1998 when they had only one album, and I saw them for $17.
Wow.
Was the price of the ticket back in 1998.
Like, was that a lot of money for back in 1998? I can't tell.
Well, I don't know because at that time I didn't work.
Ooh.
So maybe for now I would say like, yes, I wish all tickets were $17. But back then I didn't pay for it. It was my parents.
Ah, fair enough. I can't remember. I know I saw Foo Fighters for the first time, but I can't remember how much it costs. I swear in Australia it's like, whatever the price is, raise it by about 120%. That's Australian prices. But Godsmack, and they would have had it, and you said, sorry, they had like a flame show and all this stuff beforehand. That's sick. That's a really cool little show before. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was back in 1998, and back then I was really into new metal.
Yes.
And I know they were categorized as new metal, but I don't know why they categorized them as new metal, because for me they were a cheap Alice in Chains cover band. Yeah, they really ripped off Alice in Chains, even in the logo of the band. And
Oh my god.
Godsmack is a song from Dirt.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. Yes, it was. And I remember when they've been nailed several times about this, and he said, "No, no, no, we didn't take our name from Alice in Chains. No, no, it was what we said. It was Godsmack. It was about acne or something like that. It was a really, yeah, it was a weird fact, but it's like, nah, dude, you were Alice in Chains fans. Just admit it."
Yeah, if you listen to the first album, especially Voodoo and the way that Sully Erna sings, you can tell that they were huge Alice in Chains fanboys. But unfortunately, there's only one Alice in Chains.
Yep, that's true. You can't emulate that style again, unfortunately. Okay, actually, you know what's interesting? I just saw a news article from Godsmack. They had to cancel their South American leg. They couldn't get
Because no
ticket
one
sales.
in South America gave a shit about Godsmack.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is too good because I also recall back a couple of weeks ago they interviewed I think the drummer recently, and he's like, yeah, we put out perfect albums only, and we're not going to do much after the next release because what we have done we're very happy with. It's perfect, all this stuff, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You guys have put out a number of albums, but I don't think there's many people who have played them.
No, like they're very forgettable. And I reviewed the last album.
Mm.
And when you rely on lyrics, the word baby, like what the hell? Is this like Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby One More Time?
Yeah,
Like like
that's.
like I'm telling you,
Oh.
it's bad, like really, really bad. And I think they're saying that to save face. I think they're realizing nobody gives a shit about us anymore. So they should just play the first three albums and that's it. They become a nostalgia, like, and not even a nostalgia band, because I don't think anyone has a lot of nostalgia
No,
for Godsmack.
no, they're not. They're truly not. Like I've heard Vampires that won a Grammy actually. I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, I think most people remember the song from that movie with The Rock, I Stand Alone. I think that was one of their biggest hits because it was on that movie.
Oh yes, yes, that's right. Yeah,
But you know what? When you listen to that song now, it's a very generic rock song. There's
yeah.
nothing to it that you would say like, "Oh my God, I haven't heard this
Mm,
before." And unlike other bands from that time, for example,
mm.
Disturbed have, even though if I'm not super fan of their last albums, at least they kept it. They've had singles that are catchy, but Godsmack, like their new album, there's nothing catchy. Like there's no song that pops out to you that you like. You listen to that album. I listened to that album like four times to review. I reviewed it and asked me, do I remember the album?
Yeah.
Fuck no. It went into my delete file in my brain.
Your brain's just going into protection mode. It's going, we don't need to remember this crap.
Exactly.
Oh man, I do remember seeing Godsmack on a Headbangers Ball CD as well. That would have been around the 2003. Yeah, like you said though, new metal. I think it's an unfair label for them. They definitely weren't worthy of that name. I hold new metal a bit high up there, but I think they just
Yeah,
got
they were
unfairly.
an alternative metal rock band,
Yeah.
but the last albums they become like a pop rock. Like
Oh,
it's very glossy. Like all the songs are about like love stuff. I'm like, no, come on, that's
what? I'm in
yeah.
love, and I'm just okay. Yep.
There's an interview that I saw for Solly Erna on a Hard Rock Online something, and he's talking about the new album. And he's like, yes, this album is the old story of boy meets girl, boy loses girl. I'm like, oh my God.
Ah, great. Yeah. Can you name me 25 songs that were done named after girls? Everyone. Family Guy just puts them all out there.
Wow, a song named after a girl. There aren't a million of those already.
Name 20.
Rosanna, Roxanne, Michelle, Allison, Sarah, Angie, Brandy, Mandy, Gloria, Cecilia, Maggie May, Jessica, Nancy, Barbara Ann, Billie Jean, Layla, Lola, Polly, Helena, Jenny from the block.
I'm so glad I didn't do a review on that one now. I think I played it through and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty shite. I'm not going to touch this one.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just did it
no.
because my best views are when I say something is shit.
Yeah, it. That's. I think that's why. Like, oh man, I remember back in the day I did a Kid Rock one, and that one was blasting them, and I know for everyone loved it though. It's right. People seem to go and send it towards something that has been disliked, and it's like, all right, yep, Godsmack just released a new album. It's not that good. You should listen to it. Oh man, so Godsmack. Yeah, okay. Cancel their South American tour. They have the ego the size of Brazil on them. All right, that's an interesting one. We move on to Nirvana though, and that's a big call. Stepping.
That's a big name.
That is stepping the game up right now. That is massive. Oh my gosh, Nirvana, like worthy of the title itself. The King, of course, Kurt Cobain, an icon to the 90s, and really it's like when he passed away as well, it kind of brought around the end of grunge, you know.
Yeah, it was a turning point. I remember being back at school in the 90s when he killed himself. And I remember like being really pissed, and not knowing like it was one of my musical idols that shot himself, and not a lot of people listen to Nirvana in Puerto Rico at least in my school. Like I was like there were like 3 people that like rock and metal. I was one of them. And yeah, when that happened, Nirvana, I really loved Nirvana. The first 3 albums that I bought when I got into my like rock and metal, I bought Metallica the Black Album, Pearl Jam 10,
Nice.
Saigon Kick, and Nirvana Nevermind. Those were my first 4 albums that I bought.
All right. Okay.
And I know Saigon Kick is kind of questionable, but yeah, the other ones are classics.
I was going to say Saigon Kick. Is that like a hair metal group?
They were lumped in the hair metal group, and on that album they had that ballad "Love Is on the Way," and
Yeah. Okay. I
yeah,
feel like I've heard that
but
song, but I couldn't recall it right
oh
now.
yeah, you must have heard that song, but yeah, Nevermind.
Yeah. Never mind though.
It's I just remember listening to that and just the cover of the baby there in the cover, and thinking that this was amazing, and I loved it, and
Yeah.
it's a band that I grew up with, and even though they haven't made music in over like more than
25
almost
years.
30
Yeah.
years now,
Yeah.
I still listen to Nirvana, and I have almost all their albums on vinyl.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. It's definitely one of the most iconic 90s album covers, of course, with Nevermind. Just
Yeah, and the guy still trying to
sue them.
sue. And this is what's funny about this, that I'm sure that guy used that I just imagine the guy in the cover of the Nirvana, his name is Spencer something.
Yes.
He's in a bar he's like 21 in a bar, and he meets a chick, and he said, "Oh, who are you? Have you seen the Nirvana cover?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the naked baby." Just think about it. I'm sure he used it as a fucking pickup line.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way, and I guarantee he did, of course.
He's like, "Do you want to see if the penis has grown?"
Curiosity gets the better of him.
Hey, if I would have been on that Nirvana cover, I would have done the same.
You're not wrong, man. I would have done the exact same shit as well. But it's funny because
Yeah.
he's trying to sue them, obviously, all these years after the fact. And, I mean, this is talking about a dude who recreated the cover art like 21 years later and had it
I know.
tattooed on his chest or something. Like,
Yes, it's ridiculous. Like it's like you're not traumatized by it. You made money from it. The parents didn't make money from it when it came out, because obviously when that picture was taken, Nirvana wasn't Nirvana
No.
yet.
No.
So who would have known that 3 dudes on flannel shirts would have made it that big
no one
back
could
in the
have
90s?
told.
Like they took out Michael Jackson like from the top
Wow.
spot.
I didn't know that one. That's amazing.
Oh yeah,
I
they
knew
took
they
a
killed like everything in the 80s, but
yeah, like
yeah.
every metal band from the eight, like Motley Crue's Poison.
Guns N'
Then they all
Roses and
became
all that.
lame
Yeah.
because like they like Nirvana was like had that pure, it had that punk energy
Yeah.
to them. Even though they kind of like ripped off their sound from the Melvins and the Pixies,
The Pixies, yep.
but but yeah, but yeah, Nirvana, you can't deny the impact that their music had. I've always
Mm.
there's a conundrum. I think something that I think about sometimes.
Mm.
If Kurt wouldn't have killed himself,
Yeah.
would they have been as popular as they still are, or would have they faded away? That's something that I ask myself. That obviously we will never know.
Yeah, I guess that would be a hard one to answer. And also, like, what kind
Yeah.
of music would he have been writing? Because I know I've had this conversation with my friend Doz. People of the channel know Doz. Massive Nirvana fan, and I get the feeling he was kind of stepping away from that whole style. Of course, to record more acoustic-based tracks, kind of almost in the blues realm. You know, it was a very different change that he was going for towards the end there. So
Well,
yeah.
yeah, and in utero is nothing like Nevermind. In utero is more
Mm,
in your face, more raw.
mm,
Obviously, they use Steve Albini, that was known for doing catching like that more raw energy
yeah.
because obviously Bush Big had that clean sound that they hit it with Nirvana,
Yep.
and he started with the Smashing Pumpkins. So
Yeah, of course.
uh, and I love In Utero as well, and it's gonna that one is turning 30 years old this year.
In utero? I thought it was next year.
Yes. No, it came out in 1993.
Oh shit, it did too.
Yeah. Because Kurt killed himself in 1994,
1994,
and in
yeah.
1994 the last album they released was the Nirvana Unplugged.
That's right.
I think that was yeah.
Yeah, MTV Unplugged. Pretty much around about the time of... Was it just after or before his death?
I can't remember if the Unplugged came before his death or
Mm,
after. But I do remember that it's an Unplugged that I love, even though I prefer the Alice in Chains Unplugged
yeah, I was just going to
to that.
say that. I thought Alice in Chains Unplugged is a better one
Yeah,
than Nirvana.
everyone's like Nirvana because it's Nirvana, but
Yeah.
the Alice in Chains Unplugged to me is the best Unplugged ever.
That's like the
But that's
most...
another topic.
Yeah, it's the most raw one. But going back to Nirvana, I find the band's endearment is surprising within fans, because you get a lot of the older bands and stuff like that. Oh, why would I like this band? They're not my younger generation's liking. And obviously Nirvana's been dead longer than they have been alive, so but you still get a lot of young people. I remember I was talking to someone recently about 15 years old. They're like, I love Nirvana. I absolutely love Nirvana. Just got into them like
Did,
last year.
did you ask them name 3 songs?
No. No, I didn't. I don't like to be that person.
Yeah.
They didn't have
Yeah,
the shirt.
sometimes I'm at the mall and I see like really young kids with Nirvana shirts, and sometimes I'm like, I wish I could be a jerk and just say like, you fucking poser, name 3 songs.
See all those memes, yeah. Name 3
Yeah.
songs. Oh shit! I might set the bar too low. Interestingly enough, of course, because In Utero was a lot more raw compared to, of course,
Yeah.
Nevermind. And I know Dodge showed me an album version of Nevermind called the Devonshire Mix. Have you heard of this one?
No, I haven't heard that one. For In Utero, I have the Steve Albini like Ultra Mix, which is the black cover, and it sounds fucking great on
Okay,
vinyl.
okay. I haven't heard that. I haven't seen a black covered version of In Utero. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They released that mix in 2013.
I'll have to scour the interwebs for that one. I'm going to check that out for
Yeah.
sure. That's giving me something to do after here. I'll give you some homework as well, though. Check out the Devonshire mix of Nevermind. It's
I need to check it out.
more raw. Brings it down a bit. Yeah, because a lot of people will say, like, if you get Nirvana fans together, which one's better, Nevermind or In Utero? And depends who you're answer is, what your answer
Yeah.
is. You know,
I love both.
Yeah, I love both, man. I don't think I could pick a favorite out of the two. But people, Nevermind's too polished. I like In Utero, or the other way around for some people. But yeah, if people find Nevermind too polished, and yeah, it kind of was. But if you find it too polished, listen to the Devonshire mix, because it's like bringing it down a few pegs.
Because people forget their first album.
Oh yes, Bleach. Oh man,
Yeah,
it was. I remember listening to Bleach, going like, "Oh my god, this is so raw." It's like I don't even know how to comprehend it. It's funny listening to that and then going, "What was it? 2 years later they did Nevermind? 2 or 3 years later?"
Yeah.
That's a massive
To me,
step.
Bleach is interesting, but it sounds more like a couple of guys like doing because that was recorded like super cheap, and I think they did that like in 4 or 5 hours. So you can tell that it sounds like a glorified demo, but a good one.
Yes, yeah, I think it kind of gets that glorified demo feel, because the band shot up to fame. They didn't have much material, and they probably remastered it to such a degree now that the album is kind of legendary within the demo world. Because I think they recorded it on like $1,500. It was really cheap, something back
It was
in the day.
really, and I think it was with Jack, and I think his name is Encino or something, and they released that on Sub Pop Records also,
Yes.
which was that big record label in Seattle that like everyone that listens to that remembers the Sub Pop.
Yes, in particular for that. Sub Pop were massive in like the late 80s and stuff like that. They had really big name bands coming out. They were the launching board for a lot of big bands in the 80s and 90s, yeah. And was
Good memories.
Yeah, was Incesticide also on that?
No, I think Incesticide they released that on Geffen Records, and Incesticide has like some B-sides and some songs that they didn't release, and I think it's great too. There's some great songs there. Like I love Aneurysm. That's a great track that I think is like one of those like hidden gems.
Yes.
From Nirvana that most people wouldn't know about it, but I love that song.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember like also, I mean, Mexican Seafood. There's some weird tracks that they did on.
Yeah, they had Molly's Lips. They had Sliver, like Mom and Dad went to a show.
Oh yes. Yeah, for a B-sides album, that is a really good B-sides album.
That's the only one I don't have on vinyl.
Yeah, okay. And I'm pretty sure Kurt Cobain did the cover art for that.
Yeah, it was like real. It was like real raw, and
yeah, it was weird, like Salvador Dali looking painting almost.
Yeah,
it was an odd one, very unique one.
And it goes under the rug because they released that in between Nevermind and In Utero. So it went under the rug for a lot of people.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Overshadowed. But Nirvana, people, I mean, we're talking about an album that killed off hair metal and so many other musicians' careers almost, So that is
and that launched, it launched grunge and Seattle to the world.
Yes. 91, probably one of the biggest contenders for the best years in music history.
Oh yeah. Those 91 and 92, like those years were like some of my favorite albums of all time came out from 1991 to 1993.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's like in 1991, between the space of it's something like 80 days, there's Nirvana's Nevermind, Metallica's Black Album, Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
Yep, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
I think there was a Soundgarden album, if I'm not mistaken, Bad Motorfinger.
Motorfinger, yeah. It's like all of that released in 80 days, something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to say. No, I think Alice in Chains Dirt was 92.
92, yeah, 92, that one. But no, that's a solid one. Nirvana, huge draw, that one. But lastly, Deftones. You're hitting a sensitive spot for me because
I can tell you with Deftones, I have a huge man crush on Chino Moreno.
Yeah. Who doesn't? Come on now, the dude's so attractive.
I'm super straight, but Chino, for you and for you only, I would turn gay.
I can't blame you there. Like, I would just allow him to choke me and stab me while he just sings in my face, you know?
Is that everything he does, like every band he's in, because I love Team Sleep, I love
Yeah,
Poems,
yeah.
that they put out those two songs. I'm like, give me more, and Crosses.
Yes.
Everything that Chino Moreno does is just fucking great. But
Yeah.
obviously, I don't want him to quit Deftones because
No.
Deftones is still the main project. Unfortunately, I haven't seen Deftones live. Back in 2006,
Ooh.
me and a friend of mine, we went to New York. It was a family values tour, and it was
Oh.
Korn, Stone Sour, Flyleaf, Deftones. I think a band called Dead Sea, but Deftones and Korn were the
Last.
mainstays,
Yeah.
and we went for Deftones. But when we got to the concert venue, it was near the ocean, and there was a storm, and the
Ooh.
place flooded, and the concert was canceled. And we were like,
Fuck.
oh.
Oh no.
And I
Oh.
haven't been able to see Deftones since. And back in 2020, when they released OMS, they released like a tour, and they were gonna play in San Francisco. I wanted to go, but then they postponed, and I couldn't go either. I'm like,
Oh shit.
I haven't seen Deftones. Hopefully, one day.
You've got like the worst luck when it comes to this when the Deftones. Damn.
Yeah, with Deftones, I've had the worst. It's like I think Chino has a restraining order against me in his mind.
Yeah, so Chino has a lot of side projects that are just incredible. Obviously, you mentioned their Palms and their newest songs, opening and end credits. That
Talking about
was
Deftones,
oh, that is a
here I have
sick one.
Saturday Night Race, which is a very underrated album. And I just love this cover because I believe she's having fun.
Yeah, what is it with girls and being on the cover of Deftones albums, eh?
Oh my God. Yes. Like every Deftones music, like, yeah, since this is a raunchy show, I can say,
Oh yeah, go for it.
I have had sex to Deftones a lot. Like, Chino, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, Chino, for all those great moments.
Oh man, I'm unfortunately one of the few who hasn't, I'd say. And they've had a massive resurgence, actually. I think it was TikTok. They got that thirst
Oh
going.
yeah, Deftones has had a career that you can define it. Okay, first in the 90s, they were lumped in the new metal, but were they new metal? I don't. I think Deftones sound is Deftones. The first album was the most new metal. Then
Yeah.
they released their second album, Around the Fur. But in Around the Fur, you could tell their experimentation, and that's just an amazing album. But
Yes.
with White Pony, they became something else. I remember I really got into them with White Pony. I have listened to them before, but I don't know why I was more into Korn and Limp Bizkit at the time. So if I would go back in time, I would go and see my 19, 20-year-old. I'm like, come here, Hector. And stab him like, you dumbass. Like Deftones trumps Korn and Limp Bizkit every day of the week. But then when White Pony got released, I really got into them. I have White Pony, the 20 on vinyl, the 20
The
year edition.
yep, the one with all the remixes on
I'm
one
like,
side.
that's the
Yep.
most expensive vinyl I bought because it was like $60, but so worth it because it has like the remixes and everything. And I bought it directly from the band.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, you got it from the
So
website.
yeah, then they changed. Then obviously they had the Chi accident and he being in a coma. Because after White Pony, they had the self-titled album back in 2003, which was good, but it wasn't as good as White Pony. Then they had Saturday Night Risk that at the time it was an album that was very divisive, but to me,
Yeah.
it's a very sensual album. I really think it's very underrated. Then the Shisha thing happened. They were recording Eros. They scraped it. But then back in 2010, when they did Diamond Eyes, it was like the second coming of Deftones. And from 2010 till now, I think every album has been a banger. Maybe one would say that Gore is the exception. I wouldn't say that Gore is particular because there's people that trash Gore. I think it's their less good album, but I wouldn't say it's a bad album either. But it's my least favorite Deftones album, along with the first one. I'm
Yep.
actually not a huge fan of the first
Yeah,
Deftones album.
I don't like their first one. I've thought about
But I
making a
think
list.
the last album, Ohms, was a return to form.
Yeah,
I think they took everything that they have done throughout their whole career and they did it with Ohms. So I can't wait to see what they bring. I'm just bummed that they Sergio Vega left the band. That's
yeah. That
unfortunate.
just recently, about a couple of months ago now, I guess. But yeah, he went back, and I think he's already started recording stuff with Quicksand. He's gone back to Quicksand.
Oh yeah, Quicksand
Yeah.
had an album I think last year. I have it on vinyl. It's a really good album.
No, that was a
They're,
pretty good one. Yeah,
yeah.
but like you were saying, I guess, like you back in the day, you were saying that you liked Korn a lot over, in particular, Deftones. I was definitely in that boat as well, man. I remember like early 2000s, Korn, Limp Bizkit, and then Deftones was like this band that were off in the corner in the peripheries. I never had their albums, but yeah, looking back on it, I would have done the same thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, after the 2000 back and like Deftones is one of my favorite bands ever.
yes, 100%. They've risen the ranks in probably the last 10 years. But worthy, very worthy of it. You know, White Pony, damn. Like you said, the first album to me is just, I can't stand it, to be
The
honest.
first album is not bad, but I think the first album when they came out, they actually were labeled like baby corn. Like Chino said that on an interview that they were labeled
Baby
baby corn,
Corn.
and they came out basically at the same time.
Okay, yeah, because yeah, Corn was what was it, 94, and then they
Korn
were
was 94,
95.
and I
Yeah,
think Deftones came in 95.
two different areas though. What was it, Sacramento, and what was Corn? Where?
Bakersfield, California.
Yeah, Cali. Yeah, I'm not familiar with American geography. Is that nearby each other?
No, California is pretty big. Sacramento is more at the top of California, and Bakersfield more in the bottom.
Okay, same. Okay, state though. All right, I can understand why people would say baby corn then, but it's
In
unfortunate
the
label.
beginning.
Yeah, in the
But I think
beginning.
after White Pony, they were just known as Deftones.
Yeah, man, you can't mistake that. But yes, after that, I like the self-titled album, that original self-titled album, the black one with the blue and reds and stuff like that. That was like the first Deftones album I think I got. You know, Battle Axe.
Yeah, the one with the skull, right?
Yes, Hexagram. That was my first taste
Yeah,
into them. Hexagram, incredible
yeah.
song.
Plus,
Also,
they have a great covers album too. So yeah,
yeah, I
a
know.
lot of good
Yeah,
albums.
they got a decent B-sides one as well. What was it called? Is that woman on the? Again, it's another woman on the cover. But yeah,
Yeah, go figure.
it's a bit like
Go
that.
figure, right?
But yeah, like you were saying, I guess when you go through it, more recent one, Ohms, was a fantastic return to form, really good album, and yeah, I did enjoy that a lot. And when you look back at it, I didn't listen to much Saturday Night Wrist. I guess I'll have to go and listen to it again. That album always was a miss to me, you know. And it's unfortunate, obviously, with the accident
Yeah.
of Chi, because we never got Eros.
I wish they would release Eros, but a lot of people, White Pony is great, but I think my second favorite Korn album is actually Diamond Eyes. I thought Diamond Eyes was such a great album. It came out in 2010, and it was actually my favorite album of that decade. And
Yeah, yeah.
it just like they came and they reestablished themselves as Deftones, and it's just a great album.
It's a good one.
Uh,
Yeah, 100%. Rocket Skates.
I even like Diamond Eyes better than Around the Fur. I would put Around the Fur at the third position.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Like, they came out of the gates very strong with the new bass player Sergio, doing Diamond Eyes and, of course, Koi no Yokan. Really strong albums. To me, Koi no
Yeah,
Yokan's probably my favorite album of theirs.
yeah, I like Kwai no Yokan, but I like Diamond Eyes better. The thing about Kwai no Yokan that it's more of a shoegaze album. If you figure like
Yeah.
the shoegaze really took a lot of influence. It's very spacey, atmospheric album.
Oh, yeah.
It's another album. It's a very sexy album as well.
Yes, it is. We can agree that the sex appeal on this album,
It's high. Yeah.
It's high. It's sweltering, people. There's a reason why there's
Yeah,
a bunch
I'm
of
telling
mirrors
you,
on the front.
no one's going to say like, "Oh, I had sex to Dream Theater and Iron Maiden." No, no, you did not. You were alone, buddy.
I could just run to the hills.
Yeah, no, but if you say
Yeah.
Deftones, like yes, Deftones, yes.
100%, man. It is just, and like I was saying earlier, the TikTok trends has suddenly swept Deftones into new unparalleled heights. I think they've had like a 50% increase in listeners on platforms recently as well. It's ridiculous, the crazy new levels that they got fans. And congratulations, they deserve it, man. They deserve those numbers.
Yeah, no, they deserve all the praise that they've had because, they're a band that the thing with them is consistency. They have stayed consistent and releasing top-notch material. Even Gore, which was their weakest album, is it's better than a lot of those Korn albums that they released that were cringy as hell.
Yeah, I'd go for Gore over like Requiem or something like that. It's just,
Oh my God, yeah.
yeah. A bad Deftones album is still better than a lot of other.
Oh, talking about Requiem, I did a album review for Requiem, and I called them. It was the sound of Korn light, and oh my God, Korn fans were pissed at me.
Oh, you just got a fan base triggered.
I got them triggered because I said in my review, like, I don't feel Jonathan Davis pain on this album. This like it even and the album cover. It looked like the baby with sausages on his. It was a terrible. I bought that one on vinyl, and I would give it away for free.
Oh my gosh, you'd be lucky to get someone to buy it, take it off your hands.
No one's going to buy it, and that's a shame because The Nothing was actually a good album.
Yeah. Yeah, so Deftones, Deftones have some solid albums there. It's one of those bands that I don't think really has a bad album at all.
No, not even Gore, and the first one, We Are the Wickeds, they're still good.
They're definitely on their
The
own
consistency that they had is impressive, and how they have managed tragedy and gone back from it. And I think they've stayed true to themselves.
Yes.
They like even if they change a little bit, you can tell that it's Deftones. You're like, that's Deftones sound. Obviously, Stephen Carpenter, he's got that distinct guitar sound.
Yeah.
I think him and Chino together are just pure magic.
They're perfect together, those two.
Yeah.
I guess when it comes down to my decision on this list, very crazy list here. I would definitely erase Godsmack, 100%. Gone.
I'm thinking that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like Godsmack, erased.
There's not enough red in this marker to get rid of Godsmack. Yes, 100% kick them to the curb. As far as the other two, though, I couldn't go without listening to... that's so hard. But I couldn't go without listening to Deftones. So I guess I'd be listening to Deftones forever. And I would have to see Nirvana live. I'm guessing if I could pick which concert it was.
I would go to the 1992 where they played the Paramount, which is on. They played a Paramount show on a Halloween. That's a great show.
Yes.
Also, the one that they did for MTV, the
Yeah.
1993, like New Year's Eve. I remember New Year's Eve in Puerto Rico actually watching that show.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad.
Obviously through the TV, but
of course, but some good ones there. You'd have a lot of choices of there, like Live on the Muddy Banks or something like that. There was a lot of choices of venues to be watching Nirvana at. Unfortunately, though, I'd have to listen to them only once, and that would be it. But Deftones, I can't do without them. I have seen them twice live. I guess that makes it a little bit easier. But what about you?
No, what about me?
Yeah, what about you in that one?
I would Godsmack. I would erase.
Yep.
If I have to go to a show, and never listen to again, preferably I would go on a time machine to see Nirvana. Because I think it would have been magical seeing them and just experiencing the birth of that movement.
Yes, 100%.
And Deftones, even though if I never see Deftones live, I hope I do, I will still keep listening to their music until I die.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
until Chino tells me, he gives me a restraining order that I can't listen to him anymore.
Till the restraining order kicks you in effect.
Yeah, he's like Chino Moreno binds you from listening to him ever again.
Oh no, I've luckily caught them twice, man. I saw them actually just last year, at the end of last year. They were really good, man. Yeah, it's a good band to see live, everyone. If you haven't seen Deftones live, they're magical. A lot of lasers and stuff like that. So 100% go do see them. It'll be interesting to see what they do with their upcoming, if they do an upcoming album, because, yeah, like we were saying before, obviously Sergio has left the band, and it's, yeah, a bit of a question mark over the bass player for ahead of the times. But, yeah, I think, look, we got both the same list there. Godsmack, absolutely gone.
That was the easiest choice.
That was, yeah, pretty much. It's like once you figure out what your race is going to be, it's
but then I took two bands. I'm like, these two bands, Nirvana and Deftones, that's the hard one. But
yeah.
Godsmack is the give me. Like if someone said do not erase Godsmack, I would say like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I would have listened to Godsmack for the rest of my life. You chose wrong. I'm sorry, there's no right or wrong answers on this show, but you chose wrong for that one. Sorry. So yeah, everyone, this has been Side A of Live Listener Raised. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Join us shortly. In a few weeks, we'll be releasing Side B to this episode. Everyone, have a great day. Hector, thank you for joining us on this episode.
Thank you. It's been fun.
And everyone out there, you have a great day and stay spicy. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Live Listener Race. And if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Chili Con Carnage crew so you can get notified for all the future videos that we put out, as we put out videos every Friday. Also, we are on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter over at Live Listener Race, so make sure to tune in over there. And don't forget to like this video so that our manager can stay very happy.
It's been really fun. I think it's going to be a good episode when you put them both together.
Yeah.